तेरे मेडिटेशन ब्लैंक है। पर तेरे शून्य मेडिटेशन आ रहा है दिक्कत आ रहा है शून्य मेडिटेशन आ रहा है मुझे नहीं दिख रहा इसमें। ऐसे ही बढ़ाते बलून धीरे 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 धीरे।
Good morning, dear all. And I am
Here is your first today. Is my voice audible and good?
उसको
Good morning, everyone.
दो
I
दो जगह
welcome to this day 8 to the online Red Belt SUNYA meditation practice here. I'm here at Nagpur for taking care of some family matters. So sorry I'm not in Kuno today, but I really appreciate your presence here today. And right now we will summarize.
so, we have covered till now the five Shilas, the nine notes. Kevin, check if audio clear.
नो नो
So,
हाँ
uh,
जूम से नहीं
on Zoom and on right now, I have muted my Zoom and only on eCam I am. Okay. So I'm only from ECAM doctor now, and I really welcome and sorry for the disturbance caused here. We're trying something and it's online. I'm at different location, so technically there are something going on, but I am not able to see all the participants right now. But I really welcome you all till now on day 8. We have covered till day 7 the five Panchashil, which are the precepts we practice and we train ourselves. And then nine notes we have covered on day 6. Also, we have covered the introduction to all the seven belts that we require belt for Sunya meditation practice. And we have covered the pre-Sunya exercises in detail, which is the core of the red belt practice. Also, last session was very interesting with the do's and the don'ts of the red belt practice. Of course, you will get this. We are working on compiling this as a course material. Soon you will get the PDFs for the same. Uh, and today we are going to deep dive into the 99 to 0 and the test related with the practice of reverse countdown for red belt from 90 to 0. If you are able to do it, what does it mean? From 29 to 0, if you are successful on doing it completion, what does it mean? And What is the test for? Test results talks about completion of 99 to 0. We will hear these from none other than our director for Sunity International Foundation, Dr. Rajesh Savera. Welcome, doctor, who is famous Ayurvedacharya and the psychotherapist. Welcome, doctor, to day 8 of online red belt meditation practice. And we all are excited to know what this red belt practice from 9 to 0, 29 to 0, and 99 to 0 signify and tells us.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rucha. Even though you're back at your home and still you're dedicated to do this Saturday, Sunday sessions on Shunya, the 9 to 0, the 29 to 0 and 99 to 0 red belt practice. And all the participants, I welcome everyone here. Again, we are day 8 into this, and day 8 is like the final day, the finale. And today we are going to do a practice on 99 to 0. Why is this practice so important? Why is this foundational practice so important? Because meditation practice did exist. There were meditation schools that were teaching meditation, and many of these schools were already teaching about how to observe the breath, and then through the breath, how do you bring a calmness and peace in yourself. But why was the need of the Shunya school to stress so much on reverse counting? Why did we go with 9 to 0, 29 to 0 and 99 to 0? This is called the upaya, means the skillful means of teachers. Time to time, generations to generations, yugas to yugas, every time a great teacher is born who knows what the sickness of that particular era is and finds a particular prescription that suits them all. And in today's time, if you look at it, we are in the time of the Kali Yuga. That means the time of deterioration, where things deteriorate faster than ever before. And this is why there has to be the ability to let go of things, because the things that are going to move and change in your life are going to be faster than ever before. Things, especially technology, if you look at it, the phone that you carry right now in your hand, it definitely is not the one that you carried 5 years or 2 years or even 1 year ago. Things keep on changing, the technology keeps on changing. Impermanence is around us as a fabric on which we live, and we have to understand that. And the only core way to do that is by understanding that the mind actually wants to hold on to stuff that is not there. And that is why you need to observe the breath and then do the reverse count. This is from the Maha-Annapana Smriti Sutra, wherein Ganana, means counting, is said to be the primary source in which one steps into awareness. He is going to enter into awareness. That is why red belt is called the gateway to awareness. But awareness of what? And Rucha, if you know, the Satipatthana Sutra says that one has to be aware of the 4 foundations. And this being the foundational, you can say, the stepping stone for you to cultivate your awareness, enter into meditation. The 4 foundations that Satipatthana talks about is the body, the feelings, the mind and the consciousness. And if you look at it, right now when you practice the red belt, you're actually working on the foundation of these 4. You're opening the gateway to your awareness on these 4 things, because these are the only 4 things that you use to interact with the world: the body, the feelings, your mind and your consciousness. Because without these 4, you cannot interact with the world. But aren't these 4 also the reason for all the suffering in the world? Bodily suffering, the sufferings of feelings, the sufferings of the mind and the sufferings of our own consciousness. Now when I talk about consciousness, suffering of the consciousness, you can understand why do people get intoxicated? Because they don't just want to forget the I, the consciousness about themselves. If they are living in miserable life, they want to just forget that misery, and they drink to the point that they forget themselves. They dance to the point they forget themselves. They want to forget themselves, and that's exactly why you should understand the 4 foundations: the body, the feeling, the mind and the consciousness have to be cultivated, and that cultivation of awareness on these 4 starts and begins with the red belt. And 99 to 0, 29 to 0, or 9 to 0, all these steps are basically for you to enter into that state of awareness. Yes, Rucha.
Very rightly said, Doctor. The four foundations of the Satipatthana Sutra. At the beginning, you mentioned about the Ganana. So, the red belt practice, the counting and the reverse countdown. It's not the technique developed by either Dr. Lim or either you, but it has been laid and it has the foundation of the Satipatthana Sutra. Can we say that, Doctor? Can we affirm that?
Absolutely. It's not coming from me, neither it comes from Dr. Lim. It comes from a text that was written 2,500 years ago, a practice that was taught 2,500 years ago, the technique that was unveiled to common man. Because in those days in India, the whole spiritual journey was meant to be for those shramanas, those ascetic practitioners who went into the jungles and were practicing very seriously, and they wanted to get out of this world. And then comes a man called the Buddha, and he says, hey, you don't need to get out of the world, you need to stay in the world undisturbed. And I think that's the bottom line of our school. We do not get out of the world, we actually stay in the world, the same world that we are in, and just make the world a better place. And that's the job of a true meditator. Meditator does not shy away from responsibilities, troubles, worries, and struggles of life, but one who knows to remain calm and peaceful and yet active and engaged in the responsibilities and the problems that he is facing in life.
Yeah, correctly pointed out, Doctor. Also, you mentioned about the four foundations of the Satipatthana Sutra. So, bodily, we have deep dive and practiced as our all the practitioners have been practicing the pre-Sunya exercises. Many were not aware about it, but that was new thing to them. And also, our physiotherapist Harman also taught in brief what is the importance of the pre-Sunya exercises. Also, you emphasized on the lower abdomen problems and how they can help in our practice of red belt online Sunya Red meditation practice. But here, secondly, emotions. How we can deep dive into the emotion, because thoughts comes up while practicing and feelings. It has strong base of feelings. Can we say that, Doctor? And what
Yeah.
one can do if there is some very strong feeling emerging, because people feel anxious, anxiety, and panic attacks are also happening frequently nowadays, and majority of people are suffering from that. So, how the red belt practice can help such situation?
Yeah. So as we saw the awareness as it moves on the body, we know how to sit, we know how to sit still, we know how to keep the spine straight, we know how to keep our eyes focused on one point, we know how to keep our hands engaged in one most comfortable position, and we learn to sit that for a period of 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So now what you're doing, you're conditioning yourself to be aware of the body. Same goes to the feelings. Now every feeling is basically born from a thought, and every thought is actually fed by an experience. And who is experiencing all this is the five senses: your eyes, your nose, your tongue, your ears, and your skin. They are like tentacles, they are like these sensitive elements who sense the world, and then they collect that information and pass it to the mind, and the mind processes it and makes it into a thought, an experience, and these experiences come out as thoughts again. And we want to either experience it again, that's where you get into attachment, or you don't want to experience it again, that's where you go into detachment. So like and dislike are born from experiences. And now if you look at it, when you practice shunya, you're working on this basic element called feelings. That is why if you look in shunya, we have no music for the ears, we have nothing to taste for the tongue, we have nothing to see for the eyes, we have nothing to feel for the or smell for the nose, we have nothing to feel for the skin. We are absolutely bringing all our five senses into stillness. This stillness is conditioning that nothing goes to the mind. The mind gets no input. The only input the mind gets is zero, nothing. And because of that, the mind is now developing a state where it is having zero thoughts, because of a zero experience, it is having a zero thought, and because of no experience, it is having no thought. And no thought is the basis on which the person experiences a kind of peace and calmness. And that is why, over a period of time or conditioning, you will realize you will be able to manage your feelings well, not get disturbed by the thoughts of attachment and disattachment. Like and dislikes will be a choice made more wisely based on situation circumstances, rather than conditionally based on you being programmed to do that because you have been doing so. So this is like a speed breaker on your journey into experiencing. And I think it's very vital today, as you said, anxiety, panic attacks, psychiatric disorders, attachments, and then all the worries and sadness, suffering, all those things that are mentally born can be actually stilled down completely, reversed completely, if one knows how to practice this red belt.
Oh, doctor, this is the key, and it is so huge. Like, no thought uh, process. How one can, work on it. It is just a simple formula here. Just understanding the basic five senses which everybody has, and just not giving any input to our mind. And whoa, I'm feeling that I got access of some gold mine here, because no thought. And when we relate it with the panic attack and the anxiety issues people are suffering, and many emotional outbursts are there, and if we can manage and see with the stillness developed here in red belt, then nothing like that of experiencing the no thought stage or no thought process. I think so. It will be very interesting journey if one can go through it and experience such kind of, you know, affirm that okay, there is no thought in my mind popping, which paves us into the third strong foundation, which is Chittanupassana, and seeing the mind as it is. So, doctor, what is seeing mind as it is now? We know that there is no input given to the mind. Then what we need to study in this Chittanupassana, that is mind awareness.
So basically, mind exists because there are experiences. When there is no experience, there is no thought, and hence there is no mind. Now, when you look at it, when we are practicing, you cannot go into a no mind state like that. It's not easy for anybody to go into a state and watch. It's like going to a stadium where there is no game being played, and yet you are sitting there and watching something that is not being played. It's not going to be possible. People are going to get bored. People are going to say, hey, nobody does that. Okay, there is nobody going to a stadium to see a no match, or going to a movie theater to see a no movie, or actually, doing something without not doing. You cannot do that. You're not programmed for that. But that's exactly why the red belt becomes the foundation of your meditation. Because as you go on the journey of seeing nothingness, you have to start with something. And that's exactly why we have the reverse count of observing the breath. That's a phenomena that is happening to you that keeps you alive. And your 9 to 0, the numbering, is where you engage the mind. Now you're telling the mind to do one thing, because the mind basically has the quality to only do one thing. The only problem with it is it has the ability to do multiple things, but by jumping from one thing to another thing to another thing, and it can jump and do things very fast. That's why if you look at it, people are very, very active, and people who are very fast in reacting are the ones where the mind can move faster than even, they can do things like juggle the 3 balls together or do many things together. But technically, it's one thing at a time. Okay, and that's exactly what we do here. We let go of everything, focus our awareness on 9 to 0, watch your breath, watching, counting your breath, counting. And who is watching these two? Whether we are observing the breath and whether we are counting is our awareness. That awareness that watches both of them. And that is what we are cultivating. We are cultivating awareness. We're cultivating something that is watching the mind, and that is the awareness that you are. And the ultimate awareness of not only the body, whether the body is right, whether the body is sitting straight, whether your hands are comfortable, then your feelings, whether there is an itching feeling, whether there is a thought coming in, all that. Along with that, you have engaged the mind also, and that is where it is, whether it is observing the breath, whether it is counting. So you're actually doing your awareness, or opening the gateway of your awareness on the mind also.
Yeah, doctor, like you have said, it is very difficult doing something and not doing anything. Like, for example, if we say about the floating water which flows in a river, it is uh, doing very effortlessly and naturally. But at the same time, it is doing everything. At the same time, it is doing nothing. So how one can, understand and implement this? Because we have talked about the awareness here, which leads us to the consciousness, the fourth important pillar and the foundation of the Satipatthana Sutta, which is the Manupasana, the consciousness we are talking about here. So that awareness we are talking about here. So how one can, pave that way into doing nothing, but at the same time doing everything effortlessly.
Yeah. So consciousness, the fourth one, basically is where you start realizing that you're awake, you're watching your breath, you're watching the mind count the breath, you're watching your body, you're watching your feelings, and you also know that you're doing this. Knowing that you're doing this not as a machine, but consciously doing it, putting in the effort of observing that, that's where you're cultivating consciousness. That's where you're cultivating that being alive. Otherwise, sitting there eyes closed could be going to sleep also. But no, because you know that you're not asleep, you are there, not sitting and snoring, but you're there sitting and observing, sitting and watching. I think that is where you're cultivating consciousness. This consciousness becomes one of your conditional state in whatever you do. Whatever activities you're going to do, maybe you're driving, you'll consciously drive. Maybe you're studying, you'll consciously study. Maybe you're, just addressing a group of people as a leader, you will consciously address that. Everything, your walking will be conscious, your eating will be conscious, everything that you will be consciously done. And everything done consciously is living 100%, because only conscious people live and experience the 100% of life. Otherwise, the semi-conscious and the unconscious have missed a major portion of what life has to offer to them.
Yeah, great, doctor. We have touched upon all the four foundations now, and today we are practicing 99 to 0 for 15 minutes, doctor. Is it okay? So should
Yeah.
we start our practice because
Yeah.
it's
So
7:25?
So considering the fact that this is an online course and we have done all the pre-Shunya exercises, we have taught them, we have taught the 9 to 0, we taught them the 29 to 0. Now is the time to test yourself. Whether, because 9 to 0 tells that you still can do something, right? 29 to 0 says, wow, you are free of all the kind of depression that your mind can have. But 99 to 0 tests you for your focus. Can you remain there for that length of count, for that length of time? And if you can do that, you have cultivated some very important skill in you of bringing in consistency and discipline, and which leads to focus and attention. And I think that's the beginning of the journey of meditation. And it's so wonderful that while the whole world is thinking that they are meditating out there, sitting under a tree or something, we know how not easy it is to even begin. Forget to practice. This first step, the red belt itself, is the foundation, and it's so tough. It's so not so easy that the only way that can be made easy is by practicing it daily, practicing it every time when you start your meditation. So let's dive deep into doing a 99 to 0. Okay, that will be a test for ourselves to see how good we are in staying focused on a little act as simple as observing your breath and counting it in a reverse order from 99 to 0.
Yes, doctor. Satipathan Sutta also talks about the Anicca Anupasana. Anicca is Anitya, impermanence, and Pasana is just noticing it. So let's just practice of noticing this impermanence in the form of 99 to 0 is Kevin putting on the timer here, doctor. Let's have for 15 minutes.
Yeah, he has the gong. He will play the gong after the timer is on and the timer is off. And when we hear the timer off, okay, I'll say shunya, and then we open our eyes and then we relax, rub our hands, and then wake up. Okay. So
Okay,
technically,
doctor.
everybody go into practice. Okay, sit comfortably. Okay, we're going to skip the pre-shunya, we're going to skip all those first part and we go directly into practice. Okay, so 15 minutes, guys, it's going to be nice and easy. Watch your breath as easy as you can. Do not force breathe. Do not follow the mind counting. Actually, follow the breath, not the counting. Remember, the counting is the job of the mind. Breath is something that is happening. So we don't follow what the mind wants to do. We follow what the happening is and get the mind and ourselves engaged into what is happening around. Okay, so let's sit comfortably and start our practice from 99 to 0. If you finish early before the bell rings, you keep on doing 9 to 0, 9 to 0 till the time the bell rings. Okay, ready? Let's start. Shunya, rub your hands, wash your face, rub your hands, your hair, rub your hands, shoulders. So that's the
That
15-minute
was a
practice.
that was a
Yeah.
great practice, doctor, and to do it with you online. Many people might have done and share the good experiences. If there are any questions on Zoom, we can take it up. I will request all the participants to unmute whoever has any question. Can we take questions for 5 minutes, doctor?
Yeah, yeah. We're already on time, but we got delayed. So a little bit, 5 minutes we can extend.
Okay. So right now I'm not in position to see the Zoom participants, but if anyone has any questions till that time, you can relax by unfolding your legs and relax the muscles by rubbing your palms and feet also. So if anyone has any question, please ask.
So no questions. Wow. Are they actually attending or they are not attending? Can they see me? Okay, okay. I
They
don't think so. There's any question.
they have been practicing it for a while, I guess. So, the red belt is their first step, and they are expert in red belt. The problem I faced today, doctor, was like whenever we got and there is some strong thoughts based on the emotion emerging, we get distracted towards the thought and. At the same time, thoughts are also happening, and simultaneously, the counting without awareness of breathing and breathe out also happening, doctor. So, what's the turnaround for this?
Wake up. That's the only turnaround. You should be able to make sure that you don't lose your count. Keep your attention and focus on those two things of observing the breath and counting. That's it. Thoughts will come, thoughts will go. Okay, you should remain focused. You should only do that. When you drive a two-wheeler on a road or you drive a car, are you more worried about what others are doing in their car or how are they driving, or you're making sure that you navigate yourself very easily, comfortably through the traffic, right? So the only journey is
That's
about
right.
us. The only journey is how do we take our car or our two-wheeler through a city road where there are other cars and things around us. So if you understand this, it's all about navigation, and focusing yourself on what you're doing at that very moment is the only key for you to cultivate that awareness, and I think this simple practice actually sets you on that journey where you will start doing that in everything you do. Maybe you're driving, maybe you're listening to a movie, music, watching a movie, watching a game, going out with friends. You'll be there 100%. I think that's what matters, is being there 100% and giving that 100%. And that fullness of experience of life, because you have know now that there is also a nullness to that, because only who
Mm,
knows to empty the container knows how to fill it back, right? In India, we used
mm-hmm,
to pull
mm-hmm,
water from the well. Okay, so only when
mm,
you put an empty bucket into the well, you can pull out a full
mm,
bucket of water. You cannot put a full bucket of water in the well and expect to get another full bucket of water. No, no. You need to empty
yeah.
to fill it back. You need to empty to fill it back. You need to zero down always to start again. You need to zero down again to start again. So again and again, this cycle of practice, when you do it regularly, will inspire you and motivate you to remain focused in what you're doing. And things don't change like this. Remember,
Mm,
Shunya's results will be seen over a period of time. The experience has just begun. So when you will see the effects, it will be seen after a period of time. Like just like a shoe
mm,
polish or a wood polish, when you apply, it doesn't show up immediately. Okay, but when you keep on doing that, and finally after all the rubbing and scrubbing, when the sun shines, the shoe shines, the wood shines. So
Yeah.
that's how we will only shine in the adversity of life, when the situations will be tough, bad, and that's where your power of shunya will unveil to you. This is what Buddha calls the spiritual power, riddhi, the riddhi that you acquire because of your practice. And these spiritual faculties that get developed within you is because of the practice of shunya. Okay? I think
Yeah.
that's it, and we
Excellent.
can, since there are no questions, we can move on. Tomorrow we have a test session, okay, where we test ourselves whether we know all those things that we have been taught. And tomorrow is not the teacher's day, tomorrow is the student's day, and all of y'all have to do an eye watch. Okay, so 8 days I teach, you watch. Ninth day you do, I watch. Okay.
Okay, and I invite everyone to share their experiences tomorrow. Be more vocal about sharing how was the experience for this overall 8 days, and what they have learned, and what were the difficulties they have faced. In Buddha's text, Ekagata has much importance, which is single pointedness, and as Doctor has laid out the importance of focus, of waking up, and to get our mind focused, and not mind dictating us, but we giving mind order, and mind following us, and coming back to zero always. And over the period of time, we will develop this technique of proper Sunya meditation. I guess it has been wonderful journey with you all till now. Tomorrow is the last day for our online red belt Sunya meditation practice. So hope you are enjoying this time, and there is lot of learning. I'm looking forward to hear from you whatever you have learned during these 8 days. Thank you for joining us today, and see you tomorrow at say 7 a.m. IST. Bye bye. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Gracias, Miss Sandhya.